afternoon, everyone. So we are the group 11 representing the Nano World. So as we are about to begin, these are the learning outcomes or learning objective that the student should be able to. The first one is to define nanoscience clearly. The second one is to discuss the contribution of person to this subject, and lastly, to appreciate the use of nanoscience and nanotechnology. Nanostructure science and technology is a broad interdisciplinary area of research and development activity that has been growing explosively worldwide in the past few years. It has the potential for revolutionizing the way in which materials and products are created and the range of nature of functionalities can be accessed. So, a nanostructure is defined as any structures with one or more dimension measuring in the nanometer scale. Range is 10 raised to negative 9. So, let's defining the terms. The prefix nano denotes size of the order of 1 billion of a meter. So, the prefix are preceding factor used to represent very small or very large basic quantities in SI units. A nanometer is 10 raised to negative 9 a billion of meter. The prefix nano is Greek for dwarf. So, the symbol of nano is small letter n. It is a unit prefix preceding 1 billion. It is used primarily with the metric. The prefix derived from the Greek Latin nanos, meaning dwarf. At mapapansin natin dyan, diameter of hair, red blood cells, bacterium, and DNA helix from 1 cm to 1 mm up to 100 micrometer. The diameter of human hair is approximately 80,000 to 100,000 nanometers wide. A single gold atom is about the third of nanometer in diameter. On a comparative scale, if the diameter of marble was a nanometer, then the diameter of the earth would be about the meter. So now let's talk about the red blood cells. The red blood cells is a 10 micrometer. Most proteins are about 10 nanometers wide, and it typically varies is about 100 nanometers wide. A bacterium is about 1,000 nanometers. Human cells, such as red blood cells, are about 10,000 nanometers across. And let's move on to DNA. A strand of human DNA is 2.5 nanometers in diameter. There are 25,400,000 nanometers in 1 inch. A human hair is approximately 80,000 to 100,000 nanometers wide. So here are the example of biomolecules. So now let's go to nanoparticles. Denote divided matters according to Rao in 1999. If you take a piece of solid matter containing an Avogadro numbers of atoms and go on dividing it to smaller bits, you will ultimately end up with an atom of the substance. Before that, you will reach the stage of particles containing 100 to 10,000 atoms. Such particles with diameters of 1 to 150 nanometers are referred to as nanoparticles. So, in this study, nanoparticles types are commonly divided into main groups: the organic and inorganic group. So, the first group includes the micelles, dendrimers, liposomes, hybrid, and compact polymeric nanoparticles, and the second group includes fullerenes, quantum dots, silica, and mental nanoparticles. And now let's proceed of nanomaterials. Exhibit properties entirely different from book materials and constitute materials of the future. Increased surface area of quantum effects are two key factors that separate them. This is according to Royal Academy for Engineering 2014. So, the nanomaterials can be categorized into 4 groups. The first one is the organic-based nanomaterials. The second is carbon-based nanomaterials. The third one is organic-based nanomaterial. And the fourth one is the composite-based nanomaterials. So, knowing difference between the two, which is nanomaterials and bulk materials. In nanomaterials, the definition of nanomaterials is nanomaterials are particles that have their size in 1 to 100 nanometer range at least in one dimension. While the bulk materials is Book materials are particles that have their size above 100 nanometers in all dimension. At meron din silang size na ang nanomaterials is essentially have their dimension in between 1 to 100 nanometers, while the book materials essentially have their own dimensions above 100 nanometers. And of course, meron din silang visualization, which is in nanomaterials. We cannot see particles of nanomaterials from the naked eye. While the book materials, we can see the particles of most of the book materials from the naked eye. So, meron din silang example. The example of nanomaterials includes nanozomes, titanium dioxide, nanoparticles, graphene, etc. While the book materials, the example of book materials include plaster, sand, gravel, cement, ore, slugs, salts, etc. Nanoscience. Scientific study of materials of nanometer size. It is a combination of development in the solid states, chemistry, synthetic chemistry, molecular biology, solid states, physics, etc. So, the nanoscience is the study of structure and materials on the ultra small scale. Nanotechnology. Various technologies to produce materials of extra high precision and dimension in the scale of nano.
History of nanotechnology. The history of nanotechnology traces the development of the concept and experimental work falling under the broad category of nanotechnology. Based on the history of nanotechnology, it traces yung pagbuo ng mga konsepto gaya ng research and yung mga pang-eksperimentong gawain gaya ng mga produkto or materials na nakikreate in the help of nanotechnology that we use in the past and until now. Although nanotechnology is a relatively recent development in the scientific research, the development of its central concept happened over a longer period of time. The nanotechnologies, it will happen over a longer period of time or in the past few years. But kasi in the past, wala pa namang research na nagagawa or wala pang mga scientists na gumagawa nito. Kaya yung mga tao noon basta-basta na lamang may nagagawang product or materials pero di nila alam what we called about that. Pero habang tumatagal at this time, mayroon ng tinatawag na nanotechnology kasi now scientific research will develop it already. The emergence of nanotechnology in the 1980s was caused by the convergence of experimental advance, such as the invention of the scanning tunneling microscope in 1981 and the discovery of polarities in 1985, with elucidation and popularization of a conceptual framework for the goals of nanotechnology. Sa paglitaw ng nanotechnology noong 1980, it was caused by the convergence of experimental advance such as the invention of the scanning tunneling microscope noong 1981 at ang pagdiskobre sa polarities noong 1985. So ano nga ba ang scanning tunneling microscope? Scanning tunneling microscope is an instrument for imaging surface at the atomic level. Is it very useful for studying friction, surface roughness, defect in surface reaction in material, like catalyst. Fullerenes. A fullerenes is an allotrope of carbon whose molecules consist of carbon atoms connected by single and double bonds so as to form a dust or partially closed mesh with fused ring of 5 to 7 atoms. So means the molecule itself remind of football. That is why fullerenes are often and formally called buckyballs or bucky tubes, is they are in the cylindrical form. Fullerenes are used as photosynthesizer in the treatment of tumor via photodynamic therapy. People found fullerenes they can be useful in medicine. They are used as contrast agent in the MRI and X-ray in drug and gene delivery. They believe that fullerenes is able to help antibiotic to fight resistant bacteria or even target cancer cell or tumor. They are effective and safe for cancer or tumor. That's why the discovery of fullerenes is skyrocket. So fullerenes is a part of our life. Possible application of nanotechnology in the Philippines. Information and communication technologies and semiconductor. Information and communication technology, it greatly contributed to major advance in computing and electronic, it leading faster communication and portable system. In semiconductor, is it for area of interconnect. Health in medicine, example of that is scientists using nanoparticles to target tumor and drug delivery system and to improve medical imaging. Energy, is it like the power source or electricity? Food in agriculture, it enhancing food quality and safety, reducing the application of agricultural input in the enriching of absorbed nutrients from soil and many other benefits. Environment, it forms saving raw materials, energy, and water to decreasing greenhouse gases and dangerous waste. Initial commercial application, it will be discussed by Charmaine Valdez.
Initial commercial application. Nanotechnology, titanium dioxide and zinc oxide, nanoparticles in sunscreen cosmetics, and some food products. Nanocosmetic. Nanoparticles, there are less than 100 nanometers in length, are commonly used in the form of micronized zinc oxide and titanium dioxide to protect skin from UV rays. Nanoparticles, mayroong mas mababang sa 100 nanometers ang haba na karaniwang ginagamit na anyo ng micronized zinc oxide at titanium dioxide upang protektahan ang balat mula sa UV rays. Nanogold, particle used in anti-wrinkle cream for revitalizing skin. Nanosilver particles with its antibacterial properties are primarily used in soap, shampoo, and wet wipes. Nanogold, mga particle na ginagamit sa anti-wrinkle cream para sa pagpapasigla ng balat. Ang mga properties ay pangunahing ginagamit sa sabon, shampoo at wet wipes. Sinasabi dito na kailangan natin gumamit ng anti-wrinkle cream o mga panglinis ng muka tulad ng pans, RDL, toner, etc. Nanosilver particles. Kailangan din natin gumamit ng sabon na makakatulong sa pagpapanatili ng kaganda ng ating balat tulad ng papaya soap, Dove, or Kojic, etc. Kailangan din nating mag-apply ng lotion, sunblock, and moisturizer sa ating balat para hindi mag-dry ang ating skin. And wag din natin kakalimutan ang ating buhok. Kailangan din natin mag-shampoo everyday, balawan mabuti at patuyuin mabuti at pangalaga ng ating buhok. Next. Nanocosmetic. Nanotechnology is primarily used in skincare and sunscreen products, which together make up over 25% of global or personal and beauty care skills. Companies using nanotechnology include G&G, Estee Lauder, Avon, and La Prairie. L'Oreal, the sixth top nanotech patent holder in the U.S. Dito nagmumula ang mga produkto na kadalasang ating ginagamit tulad ng Avon. Kadalasan ang Avon tayo umorder ng pabango, skincare, or anything. Next, nanotechnology. Several nanoparticles in food packaging, clothing, disinfectants, and household appliances such as silver nano.